Alright, so in this video we are continuing our C++ series, and what I'll do is I'll quickly switch to my screen, right? And what I'll do is, or what we'll do is, in this video we are going to look at what does this program means, right? So what I'll do is I'll just create a new file and name it second.cpp, and we'll code in this for now. We'll code in this. So what I'll do is I will again create that what we say a basic program, right, of C++. IOStream, int main, curly braces, std, double colons, cout, double smaller than, in double quotes, hello world with a dominator, and at last return 0, right? So we'll quickly try to run this. Does this works? Wait, yeah, does this works? And it does work. See, it works. Hello world is printed on a screen. So let us look at how this program works, right? Or what does this particular, a simple C++ program where we print hello world or print something works, right? So before going forward, what I'll do is I'll tell you how we write comments. So at first, what are comments, right? Comments are nothing but some sentences, or what we can say, some letters, words which are ignored by the compiler, that is the C++ or the computer, right? And why do we need to write comments, right? This might be a question. So we do write comments to describe our code, or to make our code more understandable, so that if in next, or if in some time, or some days, some months, we don't touch this and afterwards we open it, we still get what does this thing does without actually getting confused, or what we can say, without thinking so much about it, right? So how we can write a comment? We can write a comment by writing double forward slash, and then whatever you'll write, as you can see, it is green, that is, it's a comment, right? But if you try to press enter and if you'll write something, so as you can see, this will be considered as my code, because a double forward slash is a single line comment. So what do I mean by a single line comment? So after writing a double forward slash, whatever you'll write in that particular line will be considered as a comment, but above that or below will be considered as your code, right? Above or below will be considered as your code. So what if I want to write comments of multiple lines? I can just do this, right? But that will be inconvenient, right? We have to just write double, what we say, forward slash in every single line. That will be not appropriate, right? So how can I write a multi-line comment, or comment in multiple lines? So what I'll do is I'll write a forward slash and then a star, and to end it I'll do the same, star forward slash. So this is a multi-line comment now. This becomes a multi-line comment. So whatever will be written inside this, even if you press enter and write anything, this all will be considered as your comment. Okay, so this is your single line comment, and this is a multi-line comment in C++ specifically. Okay, so I'll just remove both and we'll come to our basic program, right? And we'll try to understand this thing, right? So we'll come to our very first line, that is hash include IOStream inside greater than and smaller than and greater than symbols. Okay, so this word, as it is in English, right, that is include, refers to the same thing in C++ as well. Include, right? We don't know what does include means, right? So this thing refers to the same as in English, that is include. So what do I need to include? The thing which I need to include should be returned, or I will write that particular thing inside smaller than or less than and greater than symbols, which is for now IO stream, right? So I'll just write a comment here, and this all, right, all of the this particular line as a whole is considered as a header file, right? So what is a header file? Which contains hash include and some name inside it, right? So in simple words, if I tell you, this header file, that is hash include iostream, is the necessity of our C++ program. We have to write this, otherwise we cannot work in C++. And why is it so, right? There might be a question in your mind. Why do I have to write it every single time? So if I try to expand the iostream word, the iostream word means input, output, stream, right? Input and output stream. So in any program where we are giving some outputs on the screen or taking some inputs from user, we have to write this. And in 99% of the cases, we are doing any one of this thing, right? Either taking inputs or showing them outputs. So this is kind of the necessity of our C++ program. We have to write this thing, otherwise this will not, our program will not work. So functions like cout, right, are inside this particular header file. Printing and what we say input functions are inside this particular header file. That's why we have to include it. So by including this file, header file, what I am doing is nothing but telling my computer that, buddy, include this thing in my program so that I can use their functions. What can I do? I can use their functions. Okay, so this line is clear now. Hash include iostream. So the next line we wrote was int main, right? So I'll tell you so this is a data type, right? We'll not go deep inside in this particular video, but this thing is known as a data type. So any data type written data type which we have, or it is returned before what we say before a function name, right? So this is our function name, main, and then parenthesis. So any data type which is returned before function name, then this is known as the return type of the function. What it is known is, this thing is known as return type of the function. Okay, so int, that is integer, right? So int is the return type of main function. So we do know the meaning of main, right? Main. So that thing in programming, it refers to the same, main. So anything which we have written inside this main function will be executed at the very first. So let's say if I have some functions before my main, right, then also the first thing to be executed will be main, not my function or any functions. Anything written inside main will be executed. Is is that clear, right? Anything written inside main will be executed first. So we'll not go inside functions for now as we don't know basics, right? So main, we understood what does this main do, right? So the next statement is std double colon cout double smaller than less than symbol and some words. After that we have a semicolon. I'll divide this thing into mainly four parts. The first one is std colon. The second part is cout double less than. The third part is this one, and the fourth part is our semicolon. Okay, so std double colon, right? So what does this mean now? We can say that we have to write std double colon every time when we will use cout or any input or output functions. Okay, so there might be a question, is that necessary? See, if I just take my cursor over it, it says namespace std, and if I take my cursor on double colon, between double colon, it says std o string, that is cout, that is used for my printing, right? And it says linked to standard output. So in simple words, we have to write it. There is a way where we, I mean, it's not necessary to write, but if we write it in this form, that is std double colon cout, like this is considered as a better practice. But if you want to just remove this, right, if you don't want to write it, what we can do is we can write. So as I just removed it, so you can see our function doesn't know where this particular function is, right? That's why it shows a red line below this, and this is an error. So if you don't want to write std double colon in every single statement, although it is considered as a better practice, so we should follow that. But if you're lazy, you don't want to do that, what can you do is you can write one simple line of code, that is using name space std terminator. That's it. And if you'll write this, there will be no errors. And now if you will, what we say, write multiple couts, right, or multiple input functions, you don't need to write std before that. Okay, so now we'll continue towards cout. So cout is a function which is used to print something on our terminal or the output window. How do we use cout? We'll write the keyword cout, then double less than symbols. After that, if we want to print words or sentences or characters, we have to use double quotes, and then inside that double quotes we have to write those particular characters. But in case of printing numbers, we can just write those numbers as it is. If I just try to run this code, see, the number is printed. But if I just write my sentence, that is hello world, and then try to run this will give me an error. See, error, hello was not declared in the scope. Did you mean FTELLO? Right. So what does this mean is, if we are writing sentences or words, we have to write those inside double quotes. That's it. Otherwise, we cannot do it. Simple, right? So if I just run this now, see, no errors. Hello world is printed now. So the fourth part was the this semicolon, right? So why do we need to write semicolon? If I just try to remove this, after some time you can see a red line appeared here and an error appeared here. See, it says expected a colon, sorry, semicolon. So in C++, right, our computer doesn't know how to end a particular line or where our particular line is ended, right? So to tell that particular fellow, to tell the fellow that my sentence or my line of code is over, we have to write a terminator. So can I write anything after a terminator? Well, yes, you can write. If I just write another cout and another colon, this will be considered as my next line. So we can write anything after colon. That's not an issue, right? So semicolon is considered as the end of line in code, right? In C++ code. So we understood till now what we are doing. What is this line now, right? Return 0, right? So for now, as we looked at above, right? So this is our return type. So for any particular return type, we have to return a value, right? We have to return a value in that function. So as it is int for main, we are returning an integer, right? So we will not go deep inside these things because these are not, I mean, we'll learn basics for now, then we'll look at those. So in simple words, right, we have to write int main and return 0 or anything or any other thing which we want to return inside main, okay? But if we don't want to return anything, then we can just write return 0, right? So this was our simple program that we wrote in our first video, but in this one we understood how and what does this thing means, right? So we'll end our video here.